I froze with the ball heading straight for me, leaving me with no choice but to squeeze my knees together and employ the racket as a shield. The game became a match with my own previously unknown shortcomings and anxieties, and suddenly, yes, I was conscious of my thighs having begun to rub together when I crossed the court. By the time 3 weeks were over, 6 lessons in all, my head for the game was shot. After tennis came t-ball. We were a pee-wee team of boys and girls, beginners who would presumably graduate to a version of the game where the balls were actually pitched instead of balanced before the batter on a 2.5-foot tall tee. We didn't have uniforms or even matching t-shirts. I suppose they didn't bother with any of that because t-ball wasn't a real sport. Along with the other girls, I was usually put in the outfield. I stood there where balls seldom came, tossing my mitt in the air and daydreaming about what it would be like to finally start at my new school with all the other MGM kids. Sometimes I sat down and started up a conversation with another outfielder, though that earned us both the disdain of our coach, a disdain I only helped to justify once it was my turn to bat. It was harder than it looked to swing at a stationary ball, and I struck out to a humiliating degree. Again, the game migrated up into my head, which was so full of the fear of failure that I second-guessed myself into oblivion. At our final game, with my mom in the bleachers, I did manage to hit the ball. It was a nice, solid shot that toppled the tee and sent the ball down between second and third base and on into the no-man's land I happened to know quite well. I sprinted with all my might to first base, where I stopped, out of breath, huffing and puffing, momentarily elated, glad that my feet had not been wasted on mere practice. "Go on, keep running!" Coach yelled. "Get to third!" It was then that I realized no one had taught me the rules of the game. That explanation must have come while I was distracted in the outfield, or else Coach just assumed I already knew how to play. I understood on a basic level that we scored points every time one of our batters made it to home base, and we got sent out to field after a certain number of our batters had struck out or been tagged out. But I didn't know much more than that. My lungs and throat were burning raw from my dash to first, but I decided to make a go for third, bypassing second altogether and running straight through the center of the diamond. "No!" Coach yelled, sawing at the air with both his arms. "Go back! Hit second!" Shouldn't I just try for home, see if I could bring in a run for the team? I was beginning to remember some of the language of the game. "Second!" Coach was saying. "Go back!" A home run would have been nice, but his emphasis